What's your top wow, that actually worked moment? Friend's dad a couple years ago has an old Windows 2000 computer with a dead hard drive. Normally this wouldn't be an issue as it's an old-ass machine, just get a new one, but unfortunately this hard drive had the only backup copy of some very important family pictures since the external HDD they kept important file backups on died a few weeks prior. Went through every troubleshooting step I could think of in order to recover the data and nothing. As far as I could tell, drive was completely shot. So in one last desperate attempt I blew on the connectors and the ports like I was trying to get my NES cartridge to work, flicked the drive with my finger, and gave it a small dramatic speech about needing to stay alive for the family. Ducking thing booted, stayed on long enough for me to grab the files, and then went dead. Wow. Let it be. Let it be. I half ran a stop sign that got ran a lot. Cop pulled me over. By half ran, I mean, I was doing a California slow roll through, and halfway through I saw the cop and stopped. He walks up, asked me if I knew I ran the stop sign, I said yes. Then, I don't know why, but I asked, may I have your mercy? He takes a step back, looked a little perplexed, runs my license, comes back, and just says, today, I am merciful. Stop running stop signs. Let off with a warning. Got a free watch offer from a decent company I'd bought from before. But you had to spend over $300. I added 4 of the free watches, which were usually $75, into the cart, which registered as $300. I went to check out and a green minus $300 appears in the bill. Added my shipping address and 2 weeks later they came. I had a situation like that, though not at awesome. Was checking out an item, and there was an add-on item that usually ran over $100. I added it and the price didn't change. So I added it to my actual cart, price still didn't change. So I checked out, got an immediate email about drop shipping and thanking me for my business, with an invoice that specifically stated $0 for the extra item. A few days later they arrived. Website was promptly fixed. Something similar happened to my fiancé on Black Friday 2017. We were moving in a week and he needed a new desk. I saw one on an office website on sale for $150, $180, usually about $300, so he could look. He decided to spring for it and added it to his cart. Then he decided he might as well pick it up in store, so he kept switching between delivery and pickup from local locations. No one had it, so he switched back to delivery. And the total dropped to $0. We took a screenshot and waited for the price to return. We went through all the steps, got the $0 invoice, the shipping notification, etc. It was delivered about a week later and no one ever called. In some countries, like mine, there is precedent that if a website has a price error and a customer bought an item at the wrong price, the store is obligated to complete the order at that price. I'm a dev guy and one time I had to update an online store at 2 a.m. because of an emergency. Being sleepy and all, I made a mistake and switched the price and stock quantity values. Fixed it in like 2 minutes, but one customer who was just completing an order got her invoice for $5 instead of $40. It was a small mistake and wasn't fired, but everyone knows that I'm no longer taking emergency calls at 2 a.m. to update any retail stuff for customers. After hours of trying to repair a broken digital camera, I went to throw it away. I shrugged and dropped it on the linoleum. Heard a horrible crack, the motor turned on making a jackhammer sound before it clicked and became a smooth hum. The camera worked after that. This is how I used to fix my PS2 in high school. The 2-foot drop technique kept that some bitch running for an extra 2 years. This was a legitimate way to troubleshoot Xbox 360s as well. My Xbox 360 stopped reading discs after some time, and eventually stopped ejecting the discs. I learned that getting the discs back was as easy as prying out the disc tray with the claw end of a hammer, and to get it to read the disc, I had to listen to the sounds the Xbox made to determine whether it was going to work or not. If the fans didn't start up and I didn't hear the disc spinning, I would hit the Xbox several times and repeat that until it would read the discs. I eventually perfected this art, much to the bewilderment and amusement of my friends and horrified onlookers. I am the Xbox Whisperer. Same here. That's crazy that you had the same problem and same solution. Lol, I beat the duck out of my 360 and it lived from launch until I got an Xbox One. The first time my wife and I went out to eat with our new baby, he was sitting in a baby seat next to the table, and he started crying. I picked up a salt shaker and set it right in front of him and said, "Watch this." And he looked at the salt and stopped crying. Babies are weird. Hey, look. A thing. Runs away. The advantage of young babies, they can't run very fast. You're usually quicker. The entire grade went on a field trip to a bowling arcade place to celebrate completing middle school. I was at a claw machine, not sure exactly what it's called. I'm talking about the machine where you direct a claw and try to grab a toy with it, and I asked my friend to look at the claw from the side to see if it was lined up with the toy I wanted. Just then, a boy from another class walked up and said to me, "You know that those are a scam, right?" I was flustered and hit the button to lower the claw without even waiting for my friend to tell me if it was lined up properly. The claw came back up with 2 toys and dropped them in the collection box. The boy was silent for a moment before saying that was actually pretty good and walking away. I'll never be so cool again in my entire life. My very small company organized a bowling night once, and one of my coworkers, who was technically my superior, kept trying to give me tips to bowl better. He was just being helpful, but I was several drinks in, so at some point I grabbed the ball, yelled, "You know what? I don't need your effing advice," and slammed the ball down the lane and walked away without looking. Strike. I didn't bowl the rest of the night. The nice thing here is that it was a win-win situation. Either you get a strike and look like a god, hit some of the pins, which is also impressive, or get a gutter, which would be also funny. Only way it gets better is if you manage to get a strike in the wrong lane. I was a network engineer for an ISP at the time, and I had to get to a mountain top where one of our towers were located to perform some maintenance. Had to ride a snowmobile all the way up there, and when I got there I realized I forgot the keys to the enclosure. Not to be defeated, I tried to pick the lock, and I got it to open after about 20 minutes of trying. Yay, I didn't have to quit for the day and got the work done. Well done. Sounds like a nice gig having to use a snowmobile to get to the job. It was not a bad gig, though the pay was terrible. Here is a pic of the tower site where the lock-picking occurred. I do miss being out on the remote sites all day for work. Looks like a mission from a game. I'm looking at you, GoldenEye 007. I was 12 and didn't know how to swim. I wound up in the deep end of a pool with dozens of other people who didn't realize I disappeared underwater. I struggled for a second, then remembered something my childhood friend told me: all you have to do to float is bend over in water. I never had the guts to try when she told me, but I was about to die, so I just let my body relax, and bent over in the water by my waist and floated to the surface, alive. I couldn't believe it was as simple as she said. Edit, yes, after all this time floating, I can swim now. Thanks for the silver. I'm just glad I didn't latch on to someone else in the pool and drown them while trying to climb up to the surface. I hear that happens a lot. Please, I hope you learned how to swim. No. He's dead now. I was flying somewhere. After everyone else was boarded, I went up to the gate agent and asked about being upgraded to first class. After a bunch of typing on her computer, she said sure and asked how I would like to pay for it. I said by asking nicely. To my amazement, she gave me a boarding pass for my new first class seat. I'm a straight dude with a lot of gay friends. One of them jokingly refers to me as king of the gays. I was visiting some friends in another city a few weeks ago and we try to go into a gay bar, but the doorman tells me there's a cover charge. I, being drunk, blurted out, "But I'm king of the gays," and he laughed and let me in. Ha ha ha. I was dating a girl who wanted to take her gay friends to Boys Town one night and I went with them. At all the bars we normally went to, she usually got in free, cause boobs, and I would have to pay a cover. However, in Boys Town that logic goes out the window. She got charged and me and the boys waltzed right in. I was enjoying giving her shit about it. Then we went to the last bar of the night and the bouncer tells me it's a $5 cover. I'd had a few and was also drunk on my newfound cachet. I said, "Hey man, all the other bouncers on this street didn't charge me." He looked me up and down super skeptically and asked, "Why?" Ego deflated.